It is July 28th, 2020. I understand as of yesterday the Department of State issued an order for the evacuation of Americans still at the embassy in Venezuela. This replaces a travel warning from December 15th of 2016. But I got my bonds today, and I now know that there was a multi-party setup here. My understanding is that there were green bonds taken out by Democratic candidates for office on former members of the Green Party, including the former presidential candidate and the former vice presidential candidate. Presidential candidate about which I refer is Ralph Nader, and the vice presidential candidate about which I refer is Matt Gonzalez. Now, I also know that there was a former presidential candidate named Cynthia McKinney and vice presidential candidate named Winona LaDuke. To be frank with you, I am not certain that they were subjected to the same situation as the other two. However, I understand their demographic profiles have been used in acts of election fraud specifically connected to Democrats in the 2018 campaign season, and methods by which various kinds of municipal pension schemes have been conspiring in race based manners to commit a variety of kinds of fraud that match the kind of ascribement that was the presentation that one would put on a demographic profile indicator of the presidential and vice presidential candidates for the Green Party the year that Cynthia McKinney and Winona LaDuke were listed as the candidates. My understanding is similar to what I learned in 2008 when somebody I went to college with told me about temporary life insurance policies. Somebody else can take out a life insurance policy on you. And you don't need to, if they're at an appropriate level, even be informed. They think they have the right to do this with your life without your permission. And if they want, especially if they're trying to acquire real estate property in Florida, they can issue a fake marriage certificate in your name and have you labeled as mentally incapacitated. I really wish you had taken your duties seriously when there was a state of emergency. Nonetheless, it's not just Democrats that have done this, right? You did it to me. I've watched for over a year while a former presidential candidate has been slandered in order to hedge election interference on a presidential candidate in another country. An attempt to convince me that I've got to play magic with biometric accounts connected to any one of a number of presidents in order to save children that are troubled assets and not in Florida because I'm not supposed to know about the troubled assets in Florida. Things changed yesterday. If you thought maybe the file of the identity theft was to go to one time, apparently it's being teared for April 24th of 2008. April 24th of 2008, a pastor in Pescadero, California died. He wasn't the only one that died that day. I start my rounds today. I really hope you avoid my trap.